Hulk, the family plot twist. When Hulk's divorce from Iran Angelo was finalized in 2019, the Brazilian forward was celebrating freedom. 12 years of marriage were behind him, and at 32, he had his whole life ahead. Fans sent supportive messages. Fresh start, new chapter. Then came the Instagram post introducing his new girlfriend, Camila Angelo, Iran's niece, the woman who'd grown up calling him uncle at every family gathering. Awkward? Absolutely. Then came the engagement announcement just months later. Then the pregnancy in 2020. Then the realization hit. Hulk's 3 children from his first marriage now had a stepmother who was also their cousin. By the time Christmas dinner rolled around and Iran publicly described feeling cut like a knife, what started as congratulations for a fresh start had become the most expensive therapy session in football history. Hulk had somehow turned a simple divorce into creating a family tree that required a PhD to understand. The truly entertaining part? Hulk believed this would be celebrated. His Instagram announcement treated it like a romantic comedy rather than spectacular boundary violation. He posted sunset photos with captions about true love, while his ex-wife publicly described feeling betrayed by both her former husband and her own family member. The financial stakes were staggering. Divorce negotiations involving his peak earning years in China with Shanghai SIPG, where he commanded wages of £320,000 per week. While exact settlement details remain sealed, Iran initially demanded half his assets before they quietly resolved matters. Hulk transitioned to Atletico Mineiro, conveniently closer to his new life. His complete inability to comprehend why anyone found this problematic remains the strangest element. He spoke about following his heart with the same casual confidence most people use ordering coffee. Somehow he's maintained elite performance while his personal life resembles a telenovela rejected for being too implausible. Ronaldinho, the effortless genius. Football's most entertaining magician spent 2 decades proving you can stay out until 6 a.m., skip breakfast entirely, and still perform miracles on a football pitch. While other players obsessed over sleep schedules and meal prep, this Brazilian transformed pitches into personal playgrounds, where sports science took coffee breaks. His Barcelona peak represented footballing perfection married to lifestyle anarchy. Between 2003 and 2008, Ronaldinho won everything: Champions League, La Liga titles, Ballon d'Or, while maintaining a training schedule that made coaches question their understanding of recovery. He'd vanish for days into Barcelona's nightclub circuit, materialize at training still radiating party energy, then produce performances so magical they justified every broken rule. Lionel Messi described watching Ronaldinho arrive 30 minutes late, bypass warm-ups entirely, then nutmeg the entire defense during drills like he was playing a different sport. The famous 2005 goal against Chelsea, that audacious toe poke past Petr Cech from an impossible angle, came after his usual nocturnal adventures. But the Paraguay passport scandal elevated him to magnificently absurd. In 2020, Paraguayan authorities arrested him for entering with fake passports so obviously fraudulent, the numbers belonged to completely different people. Investigators initially assumed it was an elaborate prank. Ronaldinho's explanation deserves framing. A businessman gave them as a gift, and he never questioned their authenticity. This man, who'd traveled internationally for 20 years, apparently couldn't spot documents screaming fake. His financial decline adds another layer. Despite peak earnings and endorsements, Ronaldinho faced multiple lawsuits and watched courts freeze his assets. A 2018 raid discovered exactly £5.24 in his bank account, literally less than teenagers carry for lunch money. The contrast between his football brain and life management creates fascinating questions. Someone who could read defenses 3 passes ahead apparently couldn't process "save some money." Patrice Evra, the motivational madman. The French defender transformed Instagram into a daily motivational circus where inspirational messages collided with behavior so bizarre that followers couldn't tell if they were being coached or witnessing a breakdown. His Instagram operates in its own reality. Evra posts videos shouting motivational phrases while doing increasingly strange activities. Running shirtless through snowy forests, screaming about
I love this game, oh my god!
Swimming in freezing rivers while yelling encouragement to his phone. His neighbors must have fascinating conversations. Then came the raw chicken incident. In November 2018, Evra posted a Thanksgiving video where he literally kissed, sucked, and bit into raw chicken while chanting motivational slogans. The internet exploded. Health professionals warned about salmonella poisoning. Evra's response? He later admitted, "I went too far when I sucked the toes of the chicken. It was a bit nasty," but seemed genuinely confused why people were upset. He eventually deleted the video himself after it went viral, but the damage to his reputation was done. Manchester United teammates described someone whose pre-match energy was so intense it bordered on concerning. His commentary work showcased the chaos in professional settings. During live broadcasts, Evra would suddenly stand up mid-analysis and start shouting or break into impromptu songs. Production teams eventually gave up trying to control him, instead just positioning cameras to capture whatever was happening. The man turned motivational content into performance art nobody asked for. Neymar, the scheduled injury. Neymar Jr., football's most expensive piece of performance art, has spent 15 years demonstrating that professional athletics is actually elaborate theatre with occasional athletic interludes, where injury recovery timelines mysteriously align with important family celebrations. For 8 consecutive years, starting 2015, Neymar either got injured, became suspended, or mysteriously needed rest during the exact same week in March, his sister Rafaela's birthday on March 11th. Brazilian media started calling it Rafaela Week, and PSG's medical staff must have considered whether birthday celebrations contained career-threatening pathogens. The pattern reached peak absurdity by 2019. PSG had crucial Champions League matches approaching. Neymar picked up a foot injury, then was spotted days later in Brazil celebrating Rafaela's birthday with remarkable mobility for someone whose foot had been too injured to play 72 hours earlier. Modern medicine is truly miraculous, but beneath the memes lies something darker. In 2019, Neymar faced serious allegations from model Najila Trindade in Paris. Brazilian authorities eventually dropped all charges after WhatsApp messages showed significant inconsistencies. But the aftermath revealed something telling. Neymar's own mother admitted in interviews she'd warned him repeatedly about his lifestyle choices attracting dangerous people and situations. When your own mother is publicly saying, "I told you so," to the media, you've made questionable decisions. His £198 million transfer from Barcelona to PSG in 2017 was reportedly about escaping Messi's shadow to build a global entertainment empire. Yet that empire keeps collapsing. His 2018 World Cup diving performances became internet legend, with Swiss broadcaster RTS calculating he spent nearly 14 minutes rolling on the ground. To add to his weirdness, and to understand how much of a natural talent he actually is, former PSG teammates told French media that Neymar would arrive at training visibly exhausted from late-night CS:GO gaming sessions. He's known to stream matches until 4 a.m. before crucial fixtures. Imagine earning £25 million annually and spending the night before important matches playing video games like a teenager during summer break. Despite career earnings exceeding £600 million, Neymar faces £38 million in Spanish tax disputes. Yet he reportedly earns £650,000 per sponsored Instagram post. A single photo generates more than most footballers make in a year. Perhaps Neymar understood something. In the social media age, being the most entertaining footballer matters more than being the best one. Carlos Tevez, the rebel. The Argentine striker turned professional footballer into a 15-year rebellion against absolutely everything. His Manchester City career showcased this magnificently. On September 27, 2011, during a Champions League match at Bayern Munich, manager Roberto Mancini ordered Tevez to warm up. Tevez's response? He simply shook his head. The subsequent suspension meant nothing. Tevez flew to Argentina and stayed there for nearly 4 months, while City's lawyers frantically calculated damages. Mancini declared him finished, yet Tevez returned, apologized, and helped City win the Premier League. The deeper story reveals why money never motivated him as clubs expected. Tevez grew up in Fuerte Apache, one of Buenos Aires' most violent neighborhoods. His childhood home had dirt floors, no running water, and the scar across his neck from boiling water spilled when he was 10 months old served as a permanent reminder of grinding poverty. When clubs tried fining him millions, Tevez looked genuinely confused. To someone who'd survived environments where no amount of wealth guaranteed safety, financial penalties felt meaningless. After joining Boca Juniors in 2015, Tevez refused moving to Buenos Aires, despite the club being based there. He commuted from Ciudadela, his childhood neighborhood, approximately an hour each way, every single day. Former teammate Rio Ferdinand revealed Tevez would skip expensive team bonding dinners, preferring simple takeaways. Not because he couldn't afford fine dining, but because restaurants costing more than his mother's monthly income felt like betraying his identity. Then Chinese Super League offered him £615,000 per week in 2017, the highest salary in world football. Tevez accepted, moved to Shanghai Shenhua, then spent 2 years looking like someone serving a prison sentence. He barely learned Chinese and later described the experience as 7 months holiday, getting paid a fortune for very expensive tourism. The moment his contract ended, Tevez returned to Argentina, back to the neighborhood that made him, choosing familiarity over another fortune. Diego Costa, the conflict striker. The Spanish-Brazilian striker perfected making defending him feel less like a sporting challenge and more like participation in an extreme psychology experiment testing human patience limits. His Chelsea peak showcased industrial-scale chaos wrapped in a striker's kit. He'd whisper elaborate threats in Portuguese during set pieces, dig elbows into ribs while maintaining innocent expressions, and celebrate minor fouls like Champions League winning goals. During his Celta Vigo days, Costa struck Malaga defender Wellington in the head, leaving him blooded and requiring stitches, a preview of the mayhem to come. His battles with Liverpool's Martin Skrtel became the stuff of legend. Stamping incidents, kicks to the chest, and wrestling matches that somehow escaped red cards. The 2015 League Cup semi-final saw Costa tread on Emre Can and stamp on Skrtel, earning him a 3-match ban and Costa's Crimes headlines on Sky Sports. The 2017 text message incident captured his essence perfectly. When Antonio Conte sent a message saying, "Thanks for the season we spent together, you are not in my plan," Costa posted it publicly, flew to Brazil, and spent 3 months posting workout photos while technically under contract. Chelsea eventually sold him back to Atletico Madrid for £57 million, but only after months of Costa refusing to train and forcing the club's hand. Here's the fascinating part. Teammates insisted Costa was one of the nicest people you could meet, away from football. This suggests the aggression was pure performance art, which somehow makes it more unnerving. Imagine commuting to work, clocking in, then spending 8 hours systematically annoying everyone before returning to being perfectly pleasant. That's dedicated method acting with a £150,000 per week salary. René Higuita, the kidnap release. Colombian football's most flamboyant showman treated goalkeeping like a creative expression exercise, where the assignment was save the ball, but he consistently submitted interpretive dance performance that occasionally involves the ball. The 1995 Scorpion kick at Wembley made him immortal. Instead of catching Jamie Redknapp's wayward cross normally, Higuita dove forward and Scorpion kicked the ball away with both heels while horizontal in mid-air. The technique was completely unnecessary. He could have caught it with 5% of the effort, but necessity wasn't the point. The crowd gasped. Terry Venables quipped, "I've never seen anything like that before, but I don't think we'll be teaching our goalkeepers to do that." His creative decisions turned catastrophic during the 1990 World Cup. Colombia playing Cameroon in the knockout stages, everything on the line, and Higuita decides to dribble 35 meters outside his area, attempting to feint past Roger Milla. It failed spectacularly. Milla dispossessed him and scored into an empty net, eliminating Colombia. Higuita called it a mistake as big as a house. Most goalkeepers would have learned. Higuita interpreted it as insufficient commitment to his artistic vision. The cartel connection elevated his story from eccentric to, wait, what? In 1993, when drug lord Carlos Molina's daughter was kidnapped by Pablo Escobar's organization, Higuita agreed to deliver the ransom. He successfully negotiated her release and drove her home himself, then left with $64,000 as gratitude. Under Colombian law, profiting from a kidnapping is illegal. 7 months in prison followed during his career peak, causing him to miss the 1994 World Cup. "I'm a footballer," Higuita protested. "I didn't know anything about kidnapping laws." His first post-prison interview focused on whether he could still perform scorpion kicks. When asked about the Milla mistake, he responds with genuine confusion about why anyone considers it a mistake. He attempted something beautiful. It failed, but attempting beauty matters more than success rates. That philosophy helped him score 41 goals across his career, more than many strikers manage, and pioneer the sweeper-keeper role that revolutionized modern goalkeeping.
Carlos Roa, the doomsday goalkeeper.
The Argentine goalkeeper who walked away from his career peak because he'd calculated with absolute certainty that the world was ending, making him football's most dramatic overreaction to calendar anxiety. In 1999, Roa stood at professional zenith. Manchester United wanted him as Peter Schmeichel's replacement, willing to pay up to $10 million. He'd just helped Mallorca finish third in La Liga and reach the Cup Winners' Cup final. He'd saved the crucial penalty against England at the 1998 World Cup. Then he announced retirement at age 29 because his Seventh-day Adventist beliefs led him to conclude the world would end with the new millennium. While most footballers negotiated contracts that summer, Roa built a survival compound in rural Argentina, stockpiled supplies, and prepared for civilization's end with the same discipline he'd applied to shot stopping. He gave away his possessions, disappeared to Villa de Soto in Cordoba's mountains, and waited. January 1st, 2000 arrived. Roa woke expecting divine intervention and catastrophe. Instead, a normal Friday. Civilization continued, and Carlos Roa had torpedoed a Manchester United move based on apocalypse predictions that were catastrophically wrong. When journalists located him 6 months later, he admitted, "I had never wanted to be a footballer, and I don't miss football at all." But reality eventually reasserted itself. He returned to Mallorca in 2000 with one non-negotiable condition: no matches on Saturdays, the Seventh-day Adventist Sabbath. Mallorca actually accommodated this, though it severely limited his playing time and marketability. His comeback never matched his previous form. By 2002, he dropped to second division Albacete, then battled testicular cancer in 2004. The Manchester United move would have meant Premier League glory and financial security. Instead, he earned fraction wages at lower division clubs, watching as the trajectory he'd abandoned continued without him. His story stands as football's most extreme example of faith colliding with ambition, where absolute conviction about the afterlife destroyed opportunity in this one.
Taribo West, the time traveller. The Nigerian defender whose age remained football's greatest unsolved mystery, operating where birth certificates were negotiable and biological aging followed rules he'd apparently arranged separately with the universe. Official records list West's birth year as 1974. However, teammates, journalists, and rival executives have questioned this for decades. In 2013, Serbian club Partizan's general secretary claimed West was 12 years older than stated, meaning he'd been playing top-flight football well into his 40s. Even Inter Milan's former club doctor admitted West might have shaved off 2 or 3 years. though he insisted 12 was impossible. His trademark green, yellow, red and blue braided hair changed styles constantly across 2 decades, but never changed texture or density, as if he'd discovered immortality specifically for follicles. The religious intensity added layers of surreality. West was a devout Christian who took spirituality to extremes that baffled teammates. At Inter Milan, former captain Javier Zanetti recalled West inviting the squad to his birthday dinner at 7 p.m. They arrived at 8. West started praying. An hour passed, 2 hours, 3 hours. They left at 11 p.m. without eating anything. The birthday was over. Brazilian legend Ronaldo remembered West's response when coach Marcelo Lippi didn't select him. "Mister, but God told me I have to play." Lippi's deadpan reply, "God didn't tell me anything." If even half the rumors are accurate, and West shaved off several years, he played top-flight European football at Inter Milan, AC Milan and Derby County, potentially into his late 30s or early 40s, while maintaining the physical profile of someone considerably younger. Whether through exceptional genetics, divine intervention or creative paperwork, Taribo West existed beyond standard assessment. He left behind a legacy measured not in trophies, but in unanswered questions and impossible timelines. In professional sports where everything gets documented obsessively, West somehow remained completely mysterious. Either an extraordinary athletic phenomenon or evidence that Nigerian birth records from that era were more suggestions than facts. Pepe, the two-faced defender. The Portuguese-Brazilian defender perfected the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde transformation so convincingly that teammates started checking his eyes before matches to predict which version would appear. The 2009 Getafe match provided his violent masterpiece. With 3 minutes left and scores level, Pepe pushed Javier Casquero to the ground, then kicked him twice while down, raked his studs across his back, and punched another player in the face during the melee. La Liga suspended him 10 matches for violence so calculated it seemed almost premeditated. Yet teammates insisted violent Pepe and regular Pepe were completely different people. Cristiano Ronaldo described him as a boss on the pitch, but outside the pitch, a great guy. The pattern was unmistakable. 60 minutes of world-class defending, then a sudden switch, a headbutt, an explosion, an ejection. His 2014 World Cup red card against Germany followed the exact script. Brilliant first-half defending, Portugal holding their own against the champions. Then Thomas Müller went down from minimal contact. Pepe, furious at what he saw as diving, leaned over and headbutted Müller while he sat on the ground. Red card. Portugal played the rest with 10 men and lost 4-0. But here's what makes Pepe's story genuinely unsettling. After age 33, the violent incidents essentially stopped. His performance remained world-class. He played at the highest level into his 40s, but the rage vanished, which raises the disturbing question teammates whispered about for years. If he could control it later, could he have controlled it all along? Gennaro Gattuso, the furious philosopher. The Italian midfielder approached every match like someone had insulted his family, and the only appropriate response involved systematic destruction of all opponents through technically legal but morally questionable means. The 2011 incident with Tottenham's Joe Jordan became defining. Gattuso grabbed Jordan by the throat during the match, then, after the final whistle, headbutted him in full view of cameras. His explanation? "I wanted to show my passion for Milan." UEFA banned him 4 matches for assault. Gattuso later claimed Jordan had been heckling him for the whole second half from the sidelines, though Jordan denied the accusations. The Italian insisted he was provoked by insults, with his agent alleging Jordan used anti-Italian slurs, claims Tottenham manager Harry Redknapp, and Jordan dismissed. Yet beneath the fury lay tactical intelligence. Teammates consistently described Gattuso as having exceptional understanding of the game, creating a fascinating duality. Elite positioning in someone who looked prepared to commit violence if opponents dribbled past him. In Andrea Pirlo's autobiography, he recalled Gattuso would grab a fork and try to stick it in us during Milan team retreats, with some players missing games because of one of Reno's fork attacks. His coaching career revealed the intensity was fundamental personality. At Napoli, he kicked star signing Hirving Lozano out of training, telling the media, "Anyone who is tired, who doesn't feel like it, who isn't sharp mentally can just stay in the locker room." He maintained the same relentless standards he'd held as a player. No exceptions, no excuses. Despite earning significant wages during his Milan peak, Gattuso's aggressive approach extended beyond football. He attacked business decisions with the same intensity he attacked midfielders, reportedly facing financial difficulties from poor investments, proving that fury and money combined rarely produce sustainable results. Vinnie Jones, the enforcer who went to Hollywood. The English hardman convinced Hollywood that the logical next career step after terrorizing Premier League midfielders was becoming an action movie star, creating cinema's most unlikely pivot. The 1988 photograph of Jones grabbing Paul Gascoigne's testicles became iconic and somehow launched a second career. When asked about it, Jones responded with confusion about why anyone was surprised, noting, "Intimidation was my job description." Gascoigne later admitted, "Just look at the picture, look at my face, and look at the veins in his neck as he's grabbing my knackers." He accumulated 12 red cards across 14 years, including 7 in just 184 Premier League appearances, the fewest matches anyone needed to reach that total. Teammates estimated he committed probably 3 red card offences per match that went unpunished in the more permissive 1980s to 90s era. He held the record for 3 red cards in a single Premier League season. After retiring in 1999, Jones began acting. Initially in British gangster films, then Gone in 60 Seconds, 2000, alongside Nicolas Cage. His most successful role came in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, 1998, where he played a debt collector, essentially himself with a script. The film grossed over £28 million, launching his acting career through being exactly as intimidating on camera as in real life. Jones monetized being scary more effectively than most people monetize actual talent. His acting career reportedly generated millions across 20 years, proving that sometimes the most authentic path forward is leaning entirely into your most problematic characteristics until they become marketable assets. He even commissioned a giant oil painting of the Gascoigne incident and hung it in his Los Angeles home, turning infamy into interior decoration. These players prove that football's greatest entertainment comes not from perfection, but from authenticity. Their legacies remind us that sometimes being unforgettable matters more than being universally loved. If you enjoyed discovering football's most bizarre stories and characters, subscribe now, because we're just getting started with the weird side of the beautiful game.